So you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to use your talents because they're telling you what you're going to do, but yet you're going to make a difference. Would that make you happy?
Yeah, I think actually using my skills and talents is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's important to
Good
get
job,
this.
Linda.
Yeah,
Good
it's
job,
important.
Linda.
Yeah.
I think that that's actually number
Yeah.
one. And then helping people and making a difference are 2 and 3.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So. All right. So we're going to change that. Okay. Using your talents, you're going to say is number 1. Okay. And then helping people.
Number 2 and making
Number
a difference
2.
number 3.
And then making a difference would be number 3. Okay. See how that fleshes out? When you think about it, if that's the only thing that you can do, is that what's going to make you happy? Okay.
Right.
All right. So now you're using your talents, you're helping people, and you're making a difference. What do you think would be next? Being highly regarded, pay for values, or learn new things?
I think pay for value given would be next.
Okay. So being highly regarded is important, but not as important as the pay. There's your reputation, and then there's money.
Well, now that you say that's reputation.
But isn't that what being highly regarded is? It's your reputation. It's who you are and who you put yourself out to the world to be.
Well, it might be something slightly different because it would be more like what you're doing is highly regarded in society as important, not necessarily an individual thing, but like what you're
And it
doing,
also might
yeah.
not mean, it might be highly regarded, but not that public.
But I could also see how what you're saying makes sense to me, and if the work that's being done is highly regarded, then it filters right into you being highly regarded. So it is back to that basic how you're viewed by that community that's hired you.
Right, that's like when Landmark talks about integrity. Integrity is our word, and when we speak our word, that's who we are. So when you're talking about doing highly regarded, it's like that's the work that you do, and it's what you're known for. So in essence, it's who you are out there in the community is highly regarded. So the work and you are more or less like one. Do you understand?
And making a difference, you can make a difference completely behind the scenes where nobody has any idea ever. You can
Right.
go to your grave and have
Right.
made a huge difference and nobody ever knows. So that's very different than the highly regarded.
Right.
And the question is would you rather be highly regarded or paid the value? I mean, would you like to be highly regarded for free? I personally can tell you I'm not real happy with having done 45 years of that. You can choose whatever you want.
But then again, like I said, money is not one of my values.
Yeah.
This to me would rank so much higher than money. I mean, money for me is like number 10 or so,
Yeah.
So for me, my reputation is so much more important than the money. So everyone has different values, and that's what makes the world go round.
And
Right.
And by the way, what's really interesting is that underneath a lot of certain types of values, like wanting to be highly regarded and wanting money, those two are things that you're not supposed to have. There's a lot of negativity around that. So
Especially
if that's
women.
something that people really want, like if I said, wow, I want money more than anything, people are like, are you shallow, whatever. So same with highly regarded people.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to acknowledge sometimes, is what I'm saying.
It is.
Yeah.
So
And it's actually either 1 or 2 for me.
what is 1 or 2?
Highly regarded.
Okay.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and Diane's right on. I mean, do you really want to say that? I mean, that's really.
But
I know,
it was
it's-
right there.
I
okay.
know.
Wow.
It's okay.
But
Get
if
rid of the limiting decisions that you have about all that, and it's who you are. You know, so if doing highly regarded, I mean, for me, I mean, that's got like, for me, that's like number 2 on my values list. So it's
I honestly don't know if it's 1 or 2.
okay. So
It's- It's up there with skills and talents, and
okay.
and then helping people is 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll mark this. We'll say that this is 1 and 1, until you can decide which
Excellent.
one you want to do, and then we'll move this to 3 and 4.
And forget the rest. I don't even
Because
care.
there's there you go. We got it.
Now pay is 4 and new things is 5. Or
But you
whatever.
know, this is
5 and 6.
it's really important, and it's very, very powerful, because if you, inside of yourself, your whole being is wanting to be highly regarded, but you're making yourself wrong for that,
Right.
making yourself wrong, making
Or
yourself
you're not
wrong,
putting it into the equation.
Right.
then you're actually shoving down all that power
Right.
that could be coming out, because it's the truth and it's what you're meant to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to go back, and yes, it's perfectly fine to change as you start realizing how everything feeds into one another. And so, so we'll leave these at 1, both for 1 right now. Okay. So what do you think would be next? Pay or learn new things?
Pay and then
Pay.
learn new things is last.
Okay, 5 and 6. Okay. Now, when you talk about being highly regarded versus using your talents, if there was nothing else on here, you had to choose to either be highly regarded or use your talents, what do you think would be it?
Highly regarded is number 1. Using my talents
Yes!
is number 2.
Yes!
Woohoo! How cool.
And that's so funny because
Oh,
you
wow.
said when you were making your list that being highly regarded just popped out. You said you didn't even know where that came
Yeah.
from. So
Right.
that might be
Oh,
your
that's
missing.
great.
Right.
That might be the
Right.
missing.
And so I would say when you do a values exercise, you list everything you can possibly think of. And then when you're asking yourself, the question is, you know, as you start working down your list, you say, you know, what is the one thing that, if that was the only thing you had, that would make you happy? It would make you want to get up out of bed in the morning and go out and go do it. That would be your number 1 value. And it's fine if you think that, you know, like the exercise we have just done, is you went through and you thought, okay, that this is number 1 and whatever. And it's great to be able to go back and change it, because you're actually realigning your unconscious mind with your conscious mind. And your unconscious mind really filters everything you've ever seen, heard, felt. It's a storehouse of information. And what happens to us in everyday life is we start shutting out our unconscious mind, and we stop listening to what's going on. So when you actually start working with the values and you start asking those deep questions, you start reconnecting with the unconscious mind, and the answers are there. It's like landmark coaching and everything. We're whole human. We have all the answers. They're in there. We just have to listen to them.